Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the last, although it's actually volume 3, of the 4 volumes that I've been covering of the orchestral music of Toshio Hosokawa, Japanese, somewhat avant-garde composer who's becoming a little bit less avant, but still. And I have to say, this is by far the least interesting so far. We have first the meditation. Meditation is to the victims of Tsunami 311. Now, here's the problem. I have the same issue with this that I have with, what's his name? John Adams on the Transmigration of Souls, which won a Pulitzer Prize. It was a 9/11 piece, and it was one of the most dreadful pieces of music I've ever heard. And beside whether or not it was good, bad, or indifferent, you know what it's going to be. It's going to be slow, and it's going to be oh so serious. And there's never a question that these composers seem to ask themselves as to whether or not their musical language and means of expression is adequate to the task that they have set themselves, which is to commemorate a horrifying event. No one's questioning their sincerity. They really aren't. The issue is any piece of music that doesn't leave you basically in a quivering heap when it's over is just cheapens the entire event. And beyond that, the truth of the matter is we are too close in time to assess these things and to let them sort themselves out in their collective consciousness and to find the most appropriate way to commemorate events like this. They strike me always as opportunistic, however sincerely meant, and I'm not questioning his sincerity. And particularly Hosokawa's musical language, which, as you may know, as we've been discussing from the other things in this series, is uniformly slow, texture-based, harmonically neither here nor there. I mean, sort of dense, pantonal, whatever you want to call it. And so it doesn't permit much variety or tension or anything, actually. I mean, it begins with Beat of Earth. Beat of Earth is, some, irregular drum beats, which return periodically. Then calligraphy, which is not something that can be expressed musically. Meditation, okay, well, we can sort of do that. Elegy, fear, and then pray. Now, as you can see, this thing is a concatenation of things that are musical and things that are not. Things that music can represent and things that music has great difficulty representing. And in addition to the fact that meditation and elegy and fear and pray are all basically, well, forget fear, but meditation, elegy, and let's say pray, are all emotionally similar concepts as they would have been expressed through musical means. So the contrast is totally lacking. When I was listening to this thing, I had no clue that it had specific sections. I just play the music and then I look and see what they say about it, And there's no way to tell. And calligraphy, well, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's just a totally unmusical concept. Why composers persist in claiming that they're doing some sort of representation of something that music is completely incapable of doing, I really don't know. But they do. Anyway, I felt this was 14 really snoozy minutes. Bottom line, boring, and not particularly emotionally involving. And that's the key to these things, these commemoration pieces, right? Anyway, so there's that one. Then we get Nach dem Sturm, after the storm, for 2 sopranos and orchestra. Oh, dear. I mean, first of all, they're screaming at you in German, which is fine if you're German. I know, I understand. You can be German. There is no, here is the text. There's a text of, wait a minute, let me get it. Let's see, auto in after the storm. Let's see, music is a type of shamanism. People pray with music and calm the spirit of the deceased, creating a bridge between this world and the afterlife. Since 2011, I've been composing this kind of shamanic prayer music in various forms. Nach dem Sturm is one such work. And why would you want to do more than one thing like that? I really don't get it. I really don't. So the first half of the music is an expression of a storm for orchestra only. A phrase consisting of inhaling and exhaling is repeated and overlapped. Yes, it does sort of pant and do that a little bit. Overlapping, creating a swirl of sounds like the waves of the ocean. Ah! Remember his ocean piece? Yes, exactly. It gradually folds in and creates a large explosion, sort of. In the second half, the two sopranos sing Blumen nach einem Unwetter by Hermann Hesse, which is really an Umwetter, pardon me. This poem is a depiction of flowers caught in the storm that gradually regain the world of light. The anxiety and the terror of the storm remain, yet there is also hope and gratitude for the light. Well, you could have fooled me. Fear, yes, that I got. Anxiety and terror, okay, I guess. That's inherent in the language that Hosokawa uses. But hope and gratitude, not so much. Then we've got lament. Now, lament is Klage, it's called by auf Deutsch, is for soprano and orchestra from 2013, and it begins with a letter. Over the course of recent days, such terrible things have happened to me that I will be unable to cast off their shadow as long as I live. Isn't that encouraging? And then there is a lament, the actual poem. Why do people do these things? I mean, do they think they're not going to be taken seriously unless their music is about misery? I really wonder sometimes. It just blows my mind. I don't understand the purpose, and it's certainly not enjoyable to listen to. Not that music has to be like fun, ha ha ha, but it's not even moving. It's just generic avant. It drives me crazy, this stuff. Then we have Autumn Wind for shakuhachi and orchestra. Well, Tadashi Tajima is the shakuhachiist, and I assume it's extremely well played. It's a fairly unattractive instrument, and the Basque National Orchestra under Märkl, who plays this whole thing, do a very, very fine job with what strikes me in all of these four discs is a rather thankless task. The truth of the matter is, if you've gotten volume 4, and maybe volume 1, you got this guy. You got this guy. And exploring some of these vocal pieces and other things, it hasn't helped. It really hasn't. It hasn't given us anything new or particularly moving or profound or exciting, or anything like that in terms of creating, I think, a positive impression. This is me, of course. Others may have a much more positive impression than I do. I think when you're setting a text, your choice of text is really telling. It really is. It gives you a chance to really make your music do something. But I understand his style is uniformly slow and not tonal and not melodic. It's like I said, it's all defined by negatives. So, what it isn't. What it is spooky, creepy, modern sounding, like lots of stuff. And the fact that he chooses these texts to give his music, I think, a profundity that it may not otherwise have is kind of unfortunate. The guy's talented. You can tell from volumes 1 and 4, and perhaps volume 2 as well, or bits of it. He knows what he wants, and he knows how to do it. He should try and think about, I think, what else his music can express and work on making it do that too. Anyway, that's my take on the whole thing. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.